Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yasya sarve samarambha Kama sankalpa varjitaha Jnanagni dagdha karmanam Tamahu panditam buddhaha. Translation. One is understood to be in transcendental knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by the sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Hare Krishna. We welcome everyone for studying Bhagavad Gita together. We have been going through transcendental knowledge about Krishna being applied in our day-to-day lives. And we are slowly approaching towards the section how to gain transcendental knowledge. Question. Okay. Take. Thank you for churning the topic of the class, going home and studying it nicely. I feel happy and encouraged. So, on his request, I would quickly go through the concept of karma, vikarma and akarma. So, karma means prescribed duty. Prescribed by whom? By scripture, Vedas. So, different strokes for different folks. Vedas have a methodology for keeping everybody meaningfully engaged, contributive, and yet not too much entangled in matter. Then there is vikarma. Obviously, what does that mean? Forbidden action. For example, gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, etc. Forbidden action. And then there is akarma. That activity which is not on material platform but is on a spiritual plane. So it doesn't bear material reaction. It is not punya, it is not papa. It is action in Krishna consciousness, spiritual. That is called akarma or devotional service, bhakti. For example, when you chant Hare Krishna, when you taste prasadam, when you come and hear Bhagavad Gita, for which you use technology and gadgets, do you get karma? No. When you go out purchasing for your foodstuffs in the mall so that you can cook nice bhoga for Krishna, do you get karma? No. So that's called akarma. Akarma means bhakti. So the central theme of Bhagavad Gita is to first make a person dutiful, kartavya daksha, then to make him detached from the fruitive mentality, and then to make him devotional in his consciousness. Do everything that you do as an offering of love for Krishna. So that's the continuous theme. And just that the intensity and the emphasis of this truth increases as the Bhagavad Gita progresses. That's all. Make sense? So we continue. So this verse, Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha. So what are the ways which we should adopt to begin akarma is what is continuing now. So how to practice akarma in our day-to-day life? So Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha. In the very beginning, every endeavor we take up in our life, we should learn to be free from a desire for selfish enjoyment through that work. Kama sankalpa varjitaha. Seva sankalpa arpitaha. With full desire to serve, one should do, not for personal gratification. So, first of all, we need to set right our philosophy of life. Whether you know it or not, each of us have a philosophy of our own life. All of us have it. And our knowledge that we gain impacts our desires. You agree? What knowledge we have impacts our quality of desires. An idea can change your life. Knowledge, information, whatever you call it. It has a direct effect on our consciousness. So we need to ask ourselves a question, write a short essay. What is the philosophy of my life? Just write some 5-10 lines at home, not here. What is the philosophy of my life? Even a deadly criminal has a philosophy of life. Why he does what he does. You may say, Prabhu, philosophy is not my cup of herbal tea. But no, we all have our philosophy. Then the next thing we need to work at in our life is our attitude. Attitude is devised by what has happened in the past and also what goals we carry about future. Our current attitude is a product of what all experiences and issues we have gone through in life in the past, and also what goals we carry, what is our future hope. That decides our attitude. So we need to also set right, because not only our knowledge affects our desires, but also our feelings affect our desires. So our thinking is affected by philosophy, and our feelings are affected by our attitudes in life. And above this is our moment-to-moment decision making and actions that we do. They also affect our consciousness and our well-being. So Bhagavad Gita is training us to have a right philosophy, right paradigm, right attitude, and a right type of decision making and acting abilities. Thinking, feeling and willing being set right. So, yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha. One is supposed to act with the knowledge that Krishna is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Krishna is the best friend of all living entities. Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Krishna is the supreme controller. So this knowledge will change how we approach things in our life. Same way, we have to carry certain feelings for what we hear in the classes. One of the feelings we should have is gratitude for what we receive. Another feeling we can carry is humility, that I am not the boss here. Dharma reigns supreme in this creation, and I have to submit myself to Dharma and follow Dharma in order to become successful. So humility. And generally, this wisdom of Bhagavad Gita leads to two children. They are called humility and courage. We studied this earlier. Interesting, no? Somebody is humble. We think, will he be courageous? And somebody is too courageous. We tend to think that he will be aggressive, not humble. So wisdom of Bhagavad Gita eventually leads to these two beautiful fruits in our life. So these are the fruits of practicing akarma in our life. And here are some clues how to practice. Karmani Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam Tamahu Panditam Buddha. By gaining transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Dagdha Karmanam means we burn our karmas. You might have seen in our yajna, generally at the time of Diksha, there is a fire sacrifice. Fire represents Vishnu. And then there are these bananas, fruit that is kept. At the end of the whole ceremony, you are supposed to place that fruit in the fire. That represents you have burnt up the sum total of your karma phala. So we have kama karma bij, material desires. They are represented through that barley and that ahut and swaha we are putting in the fire. So we are praying that may my material desires become purified and become spiritualized. So that's the yajna. And at the end you put the banana or whatever fruit. So that is karma phala. All the prarabdha, aprarabdha, fructified, not fructified past reactions, all burnt up. Why? Now onwards I am going to dedicate my activities only for the pleasure of Krishna. That is the meaning of Diksha. Initiation. One time Prabhupada was conducting this initiation in one Amsterdam temple. And the devotees were very new. They didn't know how to arrange for things properly. So when the time came for putting the fruit into the fire, Prabhupada said, so where is the fruit? So the temple president was a new untrained devotee. He ran around and 10 people got up and ran in 10 directions. Prabhupada's instruction. So they went and made a nice fruit salad and brought it. And they kept it before Prabhupada. Prabhupada looked at it, he became furious. Get somebody sensible here. He gave a chastisement. And all this was getting live telecasted on TV. The Hare Krishna festival cultural event. Prabhupada was oblivious to all that fame and he wanted to train his disciples even there on TV. So they got solidly chastised. But the point is, what is the phala representing? We should be knowing. Otherwise, sometimes we meaninglessly or ritualistically do our swahas and come out of the place and we don't even know what happened exactly. So akarma begins with not becoming desireless but becoming purified in our desires. And akarma also begins with getting transcendental knowledge. The fire of transcendental knowledge will burn our past karma. Now, the next verse, text 20. Please repeat. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayaha karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Translation. How many of you are feeling inspired by reading this description that you want to become like this someday in your life? Are you thinking in that direction? Or do you think, अरे कृष्णा के कुछ लोग रहते हैं डिवोटी टाइप, बेचारे वो ऐसा सब जीवन जीते रहते हैं. अच्छा है, आप करते रहो. हम आपके पीछे हैं. This is not the mood in which we should study this. Every time you hear something like this, when will I become like this in my activities, in my consciousness? That should be our abhilash, desire. So, tyaktva karma phala sanga, the attachment to enjoy the fruits of one's own work, give it up. Nitya truptaha, always satisfied. Nirashrayaha, nirashraya doesn't mean shelterless. Nirashraya means having no material shelters, taking no material shelters. Nirashrayaha. Karmani abhipravruttaha, thoroughly engaged in all kinds of endeavors, enterprises. Karmani abhipravruttaha api naiva kinchit karoti saha. He does not do anything on his personal account. Everything on Krishna's account, but nothing on personal account he will do. So we earlier gave the example of a cashier, who counts so much money in the bank, but profit loss, it doesn't matter. His salary comes to him. Not that somebody took out 10 crore out of the bank, he becomes depressed, or somebody deposited 50 crore in the bank, he becomes elated. Similar, because that's bank's business. In the same mood, a devotee works in this world. Krishna's account. One time Srila Prabhupada was trying very hard to get a temple in Juhu. And this temple was being built at a place which was like a marshy land, very uncongenial for staying, all kinds of mosquitoes and reptiles and bats and rats and all variety of species coming out of the ground every now and then. And imagine Western devotees staying on such grounds, who have no clue, Americans, Europeans, wanting to somehow make sure that the temple is erected by their efforts. So there was one Mr. N who tried to cheat ISKCON in the transaction of land dealings. And the devotees were so naive, coming from foreign countries, they didn't know the Indian ways of doing things. They're very gullible. And they were almost about to get cheated when Prabhupada intervened. And he said, no, you don't do those things that they're asking you to do. They're actually trying to cheat you. Means they sold that land already to someone, showed it as if not sold to ISKCON, sold it to ISKCON. Again, they got a third party to whom they were about to sell the land and trying to tell devotees some stories by which they may withdraw their claim. And then he will fine them for additional money. So Prabhupada, he was trying very hard to retain that land and also to win the court case. And it is said that at one point of time, that person, Mr. N, he had a political influence. He had media, his own newspaper and other things in Bombay. He also had big contacts with all the government officials and land dealing people. And in all cases, it was like a Kaurava and Pandava situation. 11 Akshohini that side and 7 Akshohini this side, in the battle. And Prabhupada said in one of the Bhagavatam classes, if you hear, Prabhupada is saying, we came here so that the Bombay people can experience what is this Krishna culture, which is their own culture. Otherwise, society is simply degrading gradually, to dogs. So, already we have 107 temples. And now we wanted to make 108th temple in India. Krishna ka kaam hai, Krishna nahi karne diya to hamara kya jata hai. Prabhupada is saying in that lecture. Krishna ka kaam hai, agar Krishna doesn't want this 108th temple, what big deal? For me, it doesn't make any difference. My duty as a servant is to continue doing this service. But if Krishna didn't give the 108th temple, so what? Krishna ka kaam, Krishna nahi hone diya. Hamara kya jata hai? Prabhupada is saying. So Prabhupada is not attached to this idea that somehow or other I have to prove to the society that I am such a spiritual leader that somehow or other I will make it happen like this. No, he was not an egoistic person. And he had this attitude that I am doing everything on behalf of Krishna, and whether to give me success or failure is up to Krishna to decide. But I will never give up. So there are two things. Do your best. Do the best. First of all, do what you can. And then do the best you can. Karmani abhipravruttaha means this. First you do what you can. बहुत बार हम तो वो भी नहीं करते. कितना माला चल रहा है रोज? Sometimes on, sometimes off. So do what you can, which means if you have ability to do 2, just do 2. 4, 4. 10, 10. There is no pressure, but do what you can. And then the next, after having done what we can, we should ask the next question. What's the best I can do? And then Krishna will tell you also, कि now 2 balas for 2 years is too much. I think you should make it 4. So do the best you can. So both ways. Do what you can, do the best you can. So success lies in having right philosophy, having right attitude, having right actions, and having right relationships and having right results and having right lifestyle or culture ultimately. So Krishna talks so much about this. What kind of action we should perform in this world. So do what you can, do the best you can in every aspect of your life. That is called karmani abhiparvruttaha. And such a person who is doing everything on behalf of Krishna, naiva kinchit karoti saha. He does not do anything, means there are no material reactions to what he does. They are not on his account, those activities. So, simple example, Karunamurti Pro is doing the video shooting. So if I ask who is doing the video shooting, the precise answer could be Karunamurti Pro is doing, his hand is doing, or the finger of his hand is doing. What do you answer? Karunamurti Pro is doing the recording. So the instrument doesn't get the credit. Who is the doer? The person behind it. Similarly, we become instruments in Krishna's hand. Profit and loss is not in our account, in our hand. And it is all in account of Krishna. So we should be happy, giving credit to Krishna. At the same time, when blame comes, we should take it. That we should not hand over to Krishna. Now you may say, ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो रहा है. Credit देने तक तो ठीक था. मैंने मान लिया कि कृष्णा ने empowerment दिया इसलिए मैं कर पाया, तो कृष्णा को credit दे दिया. अभी जब blame आता है, if something doesn't go well, something falls apart in my life, say my job falls apart, my relationships fall apart, something falls apart. Who should be blamed? We should be blamed, because here there is problem. We are not doing what we can, and we are not being the best we can. And therefore we should take the blame. Materialists have a philosophy, glory to oneself, blame to God. And devotees, glory to God, blame to oneself. Very interesting turnaround in their attitude. Okay, any comments or questions?
When you talk about actions in day-to-day life, this applies, you can understand the application. But when it comes to parenting, you're doing it on behalf of Krishna, but there is also a lot of attachment as a parent. So how do we differentiate? What are you doing for Krishna? What are you doing based on that affection?
Her question is, many of the duties I can experience that I am doing it on behalf of Krishna, but one service, that is parenting, there because of our own attachment to our children, it is very difficult to feel the K factor. It's most often, I need to do this because this is the way my child should be, or whatever. So how to get over this feeling, or how to deal with it?
How to differentiate whether I don't understand whether I'm doing it for Krishna or is it like a selfish.
Yeah. So let's go back to the actions of a parent. We had described them. What are the 5 duties of a parent? To protect, to nourish, to equip, सामर्थ्य प्रदान करना, to engage in meaningful activities, and to do cultural engineering, facilitation. So this is our job description as a parent. Protecting not only from wind and sun and torrential rain, but also from doubts and deviations and distractions and all that. Nourish, not just physically and emotionally, spiritually also, intellectually. Equip, so that they perform the best they can, and also to provide them a meaningful engagement in life so that they can contribute, and ultimately to give them a proper culture, Sheela and Sadachara. So this is what we are to do, and we should do them as dutifully as we can. Do what you can, do the best you can. After that, if the children don't pick up right type of, say, as I said, right type of philosophy, attitudes, actions, so on, that they are supposed to, that is their duty. This is your duty, that is their duty. Now what if they don't pick up these things? What do? We do what Krishna does with us. Krishna continues his protection, nourish, all this stuff. Although we don't necessarily follow. So parenting is meant for giving us some appreciation and gratitude towards Krishna's relationship with us. Thankless job. So we should do it in that spirit. And how do I know if it is going in the right direction or not? Actually, the best way to know is by self-introspection. There is a saying that Pratyaksha is very nice sometimes. Pratyaksha, which means for yourself. जैसे प्रसाद होने के बाद किसको समझ में आता है पेट भरा है कि नहीं? किसी दूसरे को समझ में आता है? कोई peer feedback दे सकता है आपको? Can your counselor tell you कि आपका पेट भर गया अभी इसके बाद नहीं खाने का? No, Pratyaksha, you know that I am full now. So certain things we have to rely upon our own sincerity of purpose. So we will be given that. At other times we can ask devotees that I am doing this for my child. Is that over endeavor or is that a needful austerity? Okay? So after the incidents has happened, how to decide this?
Yeah, I mean, now we discussed that, something negative or, something is wrong. Then you have to, then actually you are at fault somewhere, otherwise. But there is a possibility that, is there a possibility that, it is in the bigger picture that, maybe this is not your way of life. So to bring about that change, there are certain circumstances in your life that maybe at that point of time was a negative thing, but in the long run,
it turned positive. Okay. So E is plus R is equal to O. Event plus our response to it is equal to the outcome of it. So it is not what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens to us decides the outcome. I'll repeat. It is not what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens to us decides the outcome. So the key lies at to be strong in hard moments of life. And that's the exact training we are getting here in these classes. How to be strong in hard moments of our life. And each of us have our own unique hard moments. Tailor-made for us. There are hard people, hard moments, hard situations. They are the exact exam paper that comes in our life. So we need to learn this. So Arjuna had an event in front of him, the battle. And he was not knowing what response to give to that. And that's why he consulted Krishna. And the outcome very much depended on how he responded to that situation. So each of us will have our own crisis. But by getting proper training under a spiritual master, following the process of Bhakti Yoga, we actually purify our consciousness to start responding appropriately to every provoking situation in our life. Sometimes it happens with me that something provoking happens and I give my typical reaction to it, and while I'm giving the reaction I become aware, so wait a minute, I'll come back. I missed it, and then you go back and rearrange things and come back again. So little progress is there. Even now after Todfod I realize that I did a Todfod, but at least there is that awareness that choice was a wrong choice to make. And this increases as you progress further in spirituality. Make sense? Okay, so we go to the next. Nirashirayata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma Kurvan apnoti kilvisham. Translation. Nirashi. Nirashi doesn't mean nirash, hatash. Nirashi means without desire for results of his work. Yata chittatma, one who has controlled his consciousness. Kyakta sarva parigraha, he has given up lordship over possessions of this world. He has things, but he is not possessive to exploit or enjoy them. He wants to engage them in serving others. Shariram kevalam karma kuruvan. He only does those activities that help him maintain body and soul together. Self-preservation के लिए जो करना है, he does. You need food to eat, a place to bathe and rest, whatever. Shariram kevalam karma. He does appropriately. He is appropriate in all the moments of his life. And kurvan na apnoti kilvisham. Even after acting, he does not get any reactions in this world. So, Srila Prabhupada once had gone to Detroit, and there was a very beautiful, huge mansion called Fisher Mansion. It was earlier owned by the owner of Rolls-Royce company. So now you can imagine what that mansion must be. And this place, they wanted to sell off. And one of the devotees had told Prabhupada that they want to sell off this Fisher Mansion. And Prabhupada and ISKCON had no damadi in their pocket to even think of such a purchase. So Prabhupada went with his disciples. They saw the whole, that person, he gave a tour of the whole landscapes and the interiors and everything. It was very impressive. Even the knobs were made up of pure gold. You can imagine, of the doors, and lavish. And when the talk came finally to deciding upon how much is the price, so Prabhupada, in his own usual transcendental manner, he said to this big man and his agent that we are beggars on behalf of God, and you should give it for the service of the Lord. And that man almost fainted. He said, what? Swamiji, I appreciate what you said, that it is God, but I am a businessman. No, I need some money out of this. So Prabhupada said, how much money? So he must have got, first of all, a jerk of his life. Somebody can ask such a thing for free. And then he quoted some amount. And Prabhupada made it quite less, maybe half. And he said, this is what we can offer. And devotees are wondering, where is this money, by the way? Even that half money, nobody had. So they all looked at each other. Prabhupada is saying half of this. And then, so some bargaining happened. And then that person, he could sense that these people are actually spiritual, not having material, gain, so to say, for their personal sake. So Prabhupada called for Ambarish Prabhu, Ambarish Das Alfred Ford, owner of Ford Motor Company, his grandson, great grandson of Henry Ford. How much do you have? So he had half the amount quoted by Prabhupada. So he said, I can give that much as down payment. And then what about the rest of the half? So this Ambarish Prabhu had his fiancée. They are about to get married. She was a daughter of the union leader in Ford Motor Company. Generally, union leader and the owner have a cat and rat relationship, in a company. But here the son of the owner and the son of the union leader, his daughter, is getting married. They had generations of animosity. 3 generations of animosity. And Prabhupada said, today Hare Krishna has ended that animosity. They are getting married to each other. And that lady said, I will pay the rest of the half. And then Prabhupada brought the two together. They gave checks. They shook hands as a confirmation of the deal. It was all signed in the name of ISKCON. And Prabhupada left that place, never ever to again come back there. Prabhupada said, before I entered this place, it didn't belong to me. Now that the deal has happened, we have signed off, it was gone in the name of Krishna, it still doesn't belong to me. And Prabhupada never, generally you will expect, right, a spiritual master of some Ford and whatever will stay in a very lavish condition of life. Hardly Prabhupada stayed in such accommodations. He was so much traveling to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world that he had no time to even sit back and enjoy, the typical life of a relaxed, retired, so to say, old man who enjoys his, hard-earned work of the past. No such a thing. And Prabhupada said it. Before I came, I had no money. After we have made the deal and we have gone back, I still don't have any money. But in the meantime, the whole energy now belongs to Krishna for his service for generations to come in future. So the point is, Tyakta Sarva Parigraha, not claiming false proprietorship over things. Nirashi, not having any desire for results, for personal aggrandizement. And Shariram Kevalam Karma, do what is needed to keep the body in good fit condition. In this way, if you act in this world, kurvanna apnoti kilvisham. So now you may say, well, that's Prabhupada and he's a pure devotee, I'm a small man, I have my material desires. What should we do? So at a very basic level, we should actually go home and take a quick inventory. This is a very huge exercise and you need a great deal of thoughtfulness to do it, because that will clarify to you your own existence, so to say. So all of us have 4 things to deal with in our life. We have purpose, the why behind everything, the way we look after ourselves, our character, integrity, expertise, excellence, etc. Then we have to deal with people. There are family members, office colleagues, devotee friends. And then there are projects. There is our projects like our business, or the projects of our own self-expression. We want to leave behind some legacy of our own. So in all these things, we need to have clarity about why, what, and how. Sambandha, abhidheya and prayojana. And it's a complicated exercise for those who have never put their thought in this for long. But I'll give you 2 simple clues by which you can make it quick and easy to learn. Take for example, what are the paradigms based on which you want to conduct your personal life? So, for example, I want to be a good servant of all that I interact with, which means I add value into their life with every interaction that I make. And I want to cultivate qualities like humility, tolerance, etc. I'm not writing too much. And why am I doing it? Ultimately to attract Krishna's attention. I'm just roughly writing things. They are not necessarily your philosophy of life. I'm just writing them down. Then comes your principles that you hold sacred for your life. In personal life, what will you emphasize? That I must live by this. For example, you want to emphasize integrity, or you want to emphasize That's all covered. Values, character, everything under this. Let's say you want to do excellence. Whatever you want to do it with excellence. So you want to emphasize. And then comes some practices that you will adopt in your life, such as beginning with your eating, sleeping, your spirituality. In every aspect of your life, these things should permeate down below. So at least write two things in each category after going home as a kind of a thought behind leading a life in this world. Just write 2 points. May not be too many. And if this exercise you can make it, you will start getting a hang of the statement here that says, Yata Chittatma, one who has perfectly controlled his consciousness before putting it into action in any activity. So, quite a bit of homework. If you can do it, it will do great good to you in your life. Coming to say people, what is the paradigm with which you want to work? So you want to work with, say, respect and understanding, and always keeping mutual benefit in mind, not just benefit me. So that's some of your paradigms that you want to keep in the basis of dealings with people. And then come some principles that you will follow, such as having a one-to-one connection with those key people, giving time and giving yourself to them. It's one of the practices, principles or practices that you want to maintain. Or fulfilling needs and values of others on their term. So that's a principle in relationships. And then comes practices. What practices will you adopt to keep people happy and connected to you? So then you may have some practices like dinners together. In home life I'm talking about. Every dinner is together. Whole family sits together. So that's a practice. So there are small rituals that we devise that make these things practicable. Complex? Complex. You never thought of leading that thoughtful life, huh? It was okay, people are there, things are going on. So, again, and best would be if you do this exercise with your partner. Sometimes your mind needs to open up, then you need another's help. I think you better forget this because this is too subtle to deal with. For now, just do the 3 homework. I'll give you an example if you want, but people have some purposes, they have wrong paradigms about those purposes. For example, somebody says, I want to it's difficult for me. I'm thinking of, I will find medicine on AIDS or cancer. Nice as a purpose. But what's the paradigm behind it? To make money. Then that, becomes something different. So there are very subtle things here. We better forget this wholly. Just focus on these. If you can clarify to yourself, and talking in terms of projects, how many of you heard of J.R.D. Ratan Tata? J.R.D. Tata. What was his paradigm behind starting business? Who knows? To generate employment, correct? Huh? No, that was not a paradigm. That's what I was waiting for. Okay, so watch one YouTube video called How Big Are the Tatas? Homework. In that, they clarify the paradigm with which J.R.D. Tata worked. And these three paradigms were very prominent with him. Economical well-being for all involved, not just the owner. Upliftment of society in terms of facilities, infrastructure, education, all these things done through us. And third, social responsibility for the underprivileged and those who are not going to get these facilities if we are not to provide them money and resources. Can you imagine? These are the paradigms and with which they are still working. It's an interesting fact that I think about 117 countries all over their businesses, and they're quite a bit of an enterprise. So whatever else they might be doing, but their paradigms are at the core of their projects. This is just an example. So do we think like that in our life when we do projects? Same with principles. So there are some principles that they hold sacred, and then there are some standardized practices, they will do them. I'll give an example. This example is quoted in that book Journey Within by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. He has a disciple named Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Rishikesh Mafatlal, owner of Mafatlal Fabrics. So in those days, these Mafatlals were the top 5 people in India. They were having such a flourishing business. Later on, government changed some policies and the whole business became bankrupt in few months because of the cotton related taxation and some governmental laws and policies changing. It is said that there were days in their life where they had nothing to give to their employees for months together. No money, no salaries. At the same time, their competitors, other mills, they were trying to pull out from their company the top and the trained, talented people to come and join them with double the salary. Imagine. And it is said all their employees who worked with them, all these big managers, MDs, whoever, not a single person left them in that time of crisis. In fact, they told them that we are not able to pay you and we don't know when the situation is going to change and we don't want your families to suffer because of our suffering. We happily and willingly giving you the permission that you can go join them for the offers that are coming to you. And those workers, or whatever you call them, employees, they said, if we do that in the crisis time, when you are undergoing this difficulty, हमारे जितना निर्लज्ज व्यक्ति कोई नहीं रहेगा. The most that will the most shameful thing we can do ever in our life, because you have never treated us like your employees. You have treated us always like a family member. And if in our family, if there is a crisis, you are undergoing some pinch, we will also undergo the pinch together with you. All of us will suffer. It is better that all of us suffer a little than one of us suffers a lot. Now, who is speaking this philosophy? A devotee's employees are speaking this philosophy. So you can imagine what kind of, relationship building must have gone on in the background for having such type of relationship. Especially in Kali Yuga, in modern times, who cares? Nowadays the employers are taking people, waiting to chuck them out. The moment they commit a mistake or underperformance, finished. And here is another paradigm. So this was Vedic culture. That's why we things sustained themselves, because they are based on that dharma. So these things are not otherworldly. They are happening. There are people who live by them. They are now at this time in Kali Yuga, and we should go closer to these models as much as possible. So coming to her question, how to find purpose ka paradigm, purpose ka principles and purpose ka practices. We actually need to invest time away from just these things that we do and really become very thoughtful about asking this question, why? Sometimes we become so obsessed with the day-to-day things that we have no time to answer this kind of a question. I'm giving this class. Why? Why do I give classes? What kind of people do I want to be in the training programs that I offer? What do I want to get from them? Why? What? One has to really answer this. Once those things are settled inside of you, you can settle out a lot of wonderful things around yourself. So, and that exercise is a little difficult. I think I bored you thoroughly today. Bhagavad Gita is serious, huh? You are thinking, my God, so serious about life? Now, further description of a practitioner of akarma. Text 22. Yadruchalabha santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhava siddhaucha krutvapi na nibadhyate. Translation.
He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions.
Yadrucha labha santushtaha. Happy in whatever comes out of its own accord. One time there was a monk. He was going around begging alms. The purpose of monks begging alms in Vedic times was not that they wanted material gain, but the time spent with that householder or person, there could be some discussion about spirituality. That was the hope. That people should ask them something about spirituality. So this monk went to this one lady and she was taking too much time to even come out to address. So he waited, chanting God's names, and finally, after having done whatever her household affairs, she came out. And she saw this monk standing there. She became very wild. She said, "Look at you, हट्टा कट्टा body है, काम करके कमा के खुद का क्यों नहीं खाते? Why have you become a beggar like this, living at the cost of us householders? Why don't you do something tangible in the society?" And he didn't counter reply, but he said, "I am doing my dharma. God has told in the scriptures that monks should beg alms. So we go and beg. Please offer something." So she became so wild. She went inside the home, took out a handful of ash, from the chulha, and she threw it in that begging cloth. Said, "Take this, get lost from here." He said, "Thank you, mother. Thank you very much." He had a big bright smile on his face. He was about to leave, and she got completely bewildered. He said, "Wait a minute. Why are you smiling? I have done such an insult to you, still you are happy about it. By throwing this ash into my bowl, begging bowl, you have begun the process of giving. And that is what I am appreciative about. Today you started to give something. Never mind how worthless that was. But this process of wanting to give has begun, and this will develop. Someday you will come out of your selfishness to start giving actually something tangible to others." And then he went off, and this lady sat down thinking about what he said. So, yadrucha labha santushtaha. Similarly, we should also, in our Krishna consciousness, teach Krishna consciousness to others. Some people may positively respond, some people may not positively respond, some may ridiculous, somebody may say, "क्या ये सब बुड्ढे लोगों का काम है, तुम अभी से कैसे फंस गई इसमें, and all that." They may say. So what do? We give a smile and find out a means by which they can make a connect. So some people like music, prasad, socializing, deities, darshan, whatever they can make a connect with. But never become dissatisfied that I am trying to give them spiritual culture and they are not accepting anything. Dvandva atitaha, beyond the dualities. One time Prabhupada had gone to Germany, and German youth in those days were very, very rebellious. Especially that was the days where the Berlin Wall issue or some very rebellious kind of stuff was going amongst the youths of Germany. So, and also there was a heavy demonstration against this because of communistic spread about higher and lower classes in the society. So Prabhupada began his class, and in his usual style he said, Brahmanas are the first class, Kshatriyas are the second class, Vaishyas are the third class, and Shudras are the fourth class in the society. And one German youth, he got really agitated. In the whole auditorium he stood up, started shouting and yelling, so which class do you belong to? That kind of language. Swami, tell me, which class do you belong to? Prabhupada bowed over the mic. I am the 10th class, the servant of all these classes. And that person, it was like, Prabhupada said, I am the servant of the servant of the servant of all these classes of people. I don't see myself as first, second or third or whatever classes. I am simply a servant. So that is called Dvandva Atito. Honor or dishonor, Prabhupada never failed in giving his message. Sometimes we get dishonored, we say, khadde mein jao. We are not giving you our whatever. He never failed to offer the message, even in such tough situations. Vimatsaraha, he had no envy in his heart that people will flourish. And Samaha Siddhava Siddhaucha, whether success or failure, he does not get deterred. Krutva Pina Nibadhyate, such a person does not get entangled by the work that he performs. He gets a karma. So have you noticed all these verses had their last lines from 19 onwards? Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam, no karma. Text 20, Naiva Kinchit Karoti Saha, he doesn't do anything. And then Kurvan Na Apnoti Kilvisham in 21, he does not get any material reaction. And now Krutva Pina Nibadhyate, having even worked in this world, he does not get any reaction for it. What is this all talking about? Akarma. How to practice akarma. Now the last verse for the day and we end. Text 23. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasaha yajnaya charatah karma samagram praviliyate. Translation.
जो पुरुष प्रकृति के गुणों के प्रति अनासक्त है और जो दिव्य ज्ञान में पूर्णतया स्थित है, उसके सारे कर्म ब्रह्म में लीन हो जाते हैं.
Jnana avasthita chetasaha. He is fully situated in transcendental knowledge. And gata sangasya muktasya. The three modes of nature, sattva guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, they are trying to encroach on our consciousness. But if we don't lend them our consciousness, we are not to get affected by them. You understand lending your consciousness to something? कोई आता है आपको बोलता है मैं टेनेंट रहूं क्या आपके घर में, आप बोलते हैं चला जाए ऐसे, नहीं दूंगा घर रहने के लिए, कृष्णा का है कृष्णा ही रहेंगे इधर. So something like that, Maya or three modes, they are trying to come in our life, knocking on the door, we open, and there is an interaction that happens, and they say, can I become a tenant here? We say, sorry, no vacancy, we don't lend our home to you. That is called Gata Sangasya Muktasya. And then Yajnaya Charataha Karma. This is a beautiful line. Every time you are forgetting, if this chapter is being forgotten by you, you just repeat this mantra. Yajnaya Acharataha Karma. I am supposed to perform every action as a expression of sacrifice for Vishnu. Yajna. So karma is meant to be yajna. Yajnaya Acharatah Karma. Samagram praviliyate. And such a person who is fully situated into transcendence, merges into Brahman. Merges entirely into transcendence. Now this is a very interesting term. What do you mean merging into Brahman? Do you become homogeneous one with God? So we'll leave you there at that query. Next verse is even more bewildering. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmaivate Nagantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. All Brahma, 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 Brahma coming. So it's a beautiful Upanishadic verse which has got such a beautiful meaning. We will see it in the next class. Any comments or questions? So difficult, so not to be taken up. We should still take it up. और करने लायक है क्या दुनिया में, बताओ? अगर ये होमवर्क नहीं करेंगे तो क्या करेंगे?
ऐसा लगता है कि अगर इसको अर्जुन हो गए, लगता है कि इसको अगर करना शुरू करें तो अब तक जो कुछ किया है सब गलत हो जाएगा।
If someone is going on a very big express highway, full throttle, full speed, and someone comes and informs him you are on the wrong track, what should he do? He said, मैंने इतना मेहनत करके कार खरीदा, इतना फास्ट चला रहा हूँ, मैंने पेट्रोल इतना डाला इसके अंदर ऑलरेडी, और अभी मेरा इतना स्पीड भी पकड़ लिया है गाड़ी, अभी तुम मेरे को यू टर्न मारने को बोल रहे हो, और इतना सारा किया वो सब अभी पूरा भर के निकालना है, यू टर्न मार के दूसरे दिशा में ज़्यादा है कहीं. So there is matter, there is spirit. So we are fully active in this direction, and now we are supposed to put a brake and take a U-turn and go. Not that the activity is changing, not that we have to change our family or do anything drastic, but we really need to put a brake on our materialistic consciousness which is running after matter and turn it around and tell it no. Henceforth Krishna की चलेगी, मन की नहीं चलेगी. So that's the endeavor. Any other? Any other questions, comments, criticisms? Okay. So we end there. Thank you all very much. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.